So there's been a post going around from newbeauty.com that has been talking about how Ulta has been cleaning off their returns and used products and selling them as new. And this post is, again, from newbeauty.com, and it was posted by Danielle Fontana on January 11th. It also shows Twitter posts of other Ulta employees who have had to clean these items and put them back on the shelves and sell them as new products to their customers. So I used to be an Ulta operations manager, and I was actually in charge of dealing with these things. I no longer work for the company for similar reasons, and I do know I'm going to get a lot of pushbacks from posting this video. I am just here to be completely honest about what really does go on. And I do want everyone to be aware of this, and I do want to make it known what has happened. I do know that I did some wrongful things and I shouldn't have done them, and I do know I'm going to get comments on that. So I totally understand if you want to bash me, say anything. I'm just giving you raw details of what does happen. So let me tell you why this happens. So what happens is that district managers, and a district manager is a manager who watches over a specific amount of stores, usually like a group of stores that are within a region, but that district manager will give out specific goals on what they want their damages, the loss amounts to look like. When I first started at the store I worked at, my damages were sky high, or at least sky high compared to all the other stores. I'm going to say my store was at about $6,000, or this is just a rough number just to give like how much goes into damages. So this is just a rough number. Please do not quote me on this number. So this is just to give an estimate of what happened. So say we were around $6,000 when I first started, and then I was showed how damages were supposedly supposed to be done, and I was like, oh, okay, let me go through these boxes. It was normally done about once a week, and I was like, okay, let me go through the boxes of the products, and let me go through things that are damaged, and let's throw them away, and let's get rid of them. And in my store, they were considered hazardous waste. So certain states, I know California, which is where I am, and I think also Connecticut and maybe Rhode Island, and there's possibly a few other states that consider these products hazardous waste after they've been used. So we had hazardous waste bins that we would throw these products into after they were considered a damage. So I went through these products, I went through everything, and then I did find some things that were returned that had seals on them and were completely unused. So those things I put back on the floor, and I got the report back, and again, I went through every single thing. There were managers before me that just threw it all away, and those managers were great because nothing that was returned was ever put back on the floor. So that was great. But I was a new manager, and I wanted to prove myself at that time. I wanted to move up with the company. I wanted to make good with my district manager. So when I did that and I went through everything and made sure to put things back that were unused, I got that $6,000 number down to $5,000, and I was like, oh yeah, all right, I'm making some progress here. I just started at the store, so I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna do really well and hit the goals. And at that time, I didn't really know what the actual goal was, so I was like, okay, I got this down $1,000, great. So then my district manager comes in, and she's like, you're sky high over goal. Let me show you how to do this. And I was like, oh, okay. And I told her, I was like, I've been thoroughly going through everything. It took me a full 8-hour shift to go through everything and make sure everything was sealed and unopened, and that we weren't losing any product that we shouldn't have. So then she pulls me aside, and then she opens up one of the hazardous waste bins, and she pulls out a shampoo, and she's like, this shampoo can be resold. And I was like, oh, well, it was used. Like, you can see on the pump that there's been product used out of it. And she was like, oh, well, no one would ever tell. Just clean up off the top and put this back on the shelf. And I was like, okay, all right. And then she pulled out like a lotion. She also told me like hairsprays to wipe down the nozzle with alcohol so it doesn't look like it was used. So a lot of cleaning with alcohol was being done. At that time I didn't think it was right, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm cleaning these products and people are going to buy these and they're not new products. Great. I feel like a jerk. But it was my job, so I did it. Then I got it maybe down to like 4,000. And from the 6,000 to 4,000, and I was like, hey, I did it. Like, I'm doing a really good job here. Like, I looked through all this. I saved all these hair products, these shampoos. Look, it doesn't even look like it was used. Oh, look at this lotion. Oh yeah, this doesn't look used either. And then she was just like, no, you still need to work on it. And I was just like, okay, all right. So then I went to another store in my district, and I was helping out and being a manager on duty and what they call a gem. So I was helping out gemming, and when I started my shift, there was another manager there, and I saw her going through the damages, and she was cleaning things with Q-tips and alcohol, and I was like looking at the things, and they were foundations, skincare, all those things that people actually used and that weren't going on hair. It was going on people's faces. And I looked at her and I was like, are you cleaning those to be put back on the floor? And she was like, yeah, this is what our district manager expects of us. And I was like, so caught off guard. And I was like, oh, she told me she just wanted me to clean the hair products, and I still didn't even feel comfortable doing that. And then the manager's like, yeah, she's gonna start asking you to clean the like foundations and anything that isn't used near around the eyes. So that's what I found out from them is, oh, we don't clean things that are used around the eyes or mouth. So no mascaras and no lipsticks. So then I went back to my store and I did damages, and I did what everyone else was doing at other stores. I cleaned things with, let's see what I did. So I have some notes here. I cleaned things that had spray bottles. I cleaned things that had pump out bottles, anything that had a squeeze out bottle. So I did this on top of the hair products. So this was also skincare, makeup, foundation, more lotions, just bath products, everything I could to clean as much as I could. And then the products that were commonly repackaged and cleaned by me because I found them easy to clean and repackaged were the Tarte Amazonian Clay Foundation. That was one of our biggest returns and the easiest to clean. And again, this isn't saying anything bad about Tarte because I love Tarte Amazonian Clay Foundation, but it was a very high return item, and that was something that I cleaned all the time. Also, all the Smashbox primers, since they're squeezed tube also, I clean those a lot, and again, that's another product I use all the time, so nothing wrong with the returns on that. The Urban Decay setting sprays, sometimes someone would use half the bottle of the spray and you'd take another bottle and refill it, so one bottle was completely filled, and that was anything with spray bottles. If there were multiples being returned, you'd use one to refill the other and hazardous waste the other one. The squeeze out primers from Urban Decay, Too Faced setting sprays and squeeze out primers, the Becca primers, like I don't remember what they're called, but there was like a purple one and then like a shimmery one, a backlight primer I think it was. Those were always washed out and sent back to the floor. A lot of Lancome skincare, another high dollar product. Lancome skincare, their foundations, we'd clean out the squeeze tube, not even squeeze tube, but the pump tube. We'd completely clean that out, and we'd resell that. the Bare Minerals liquid foundation. So there were many foundations that we did clean. So again, like, there were many products that were cleaned out and that were resold. Again, I would not touch any of the lip products or the mascaras, but I'm not saying that that wasn't happening at other stores. I have seen how they could be cleaned and resold. I know that how they could look new, but I wouldn't do mascaras. Instantly went in the trash. Lip glosses instantly went in the trash. Pencil eyeliners instantly went in the trash. And again, when I say trash, it means hazardous waste. These products were considered hazardous waste. So these things went in those hazardous waste bins, but a lot of the things like foundations, lotions, hair products, all these things that I was saying earlier were being cleaned and repackaged. Things that were considered hazardous waste were being repackaged and sold back on the floor. And then these were things that were being, I feel so terrible for doing them. And again, if you want to leave nasty comments or anything like that, any pushback, by all means, post it. But this was my job, and at first I loved the job, and then I just really didn't care after a while because there were so many things. This is just a little bit of the terrible things that Ulta would do. But I do regret everything I did for that. If I could, I would tell anyone who does shop at Ulta, please look at your products. Please make sure that nothing looks like there's been any other product around it. Seals, like anything with a squeeze tube, it usually has a seal on it, like a foil type seal. So like those things like the Amazonian Clay Foundation, the Smashbox primers, they all have seals on them. So I do recommend checking seals. I mean, there are things that don't have seals, but please look at those things. Please ask another Ulta associate. If it looks like it's been used, ask the associate, because the associates don't want this happening. They just have to do their job, and they have to listen to the district managers that put this in play. But if you go up to an Ulta associate, I highly doubt anyone's going to ever lie to you and say, no, this isn't used. Because even though I was the person cleaning them, if anyone ever came up to me and asked if this was used, oh yeah, let me take that. And then I'd put it back in the damage area, and then it would go back and be circled around again for damages to be cleaned on the floor again. So yes, I do completely regret doing any of this. I do completely, I hate that I did this. Again, bash me all you want, but I think there needs to be an end to this. And Ulta needs to realize, the other thing is, yeah, the higher up people at Ulta, they don't know any of this is going on. There's so much stuff that they don't know that is going on, and they're just writing back on Twitter like, we don't do this, we don't do this. You need to really trickle down to your district managers and your regional managers and really see what's going on. Because there are so many other things that are going on, and they just don't know, because these district managers are just trying to cut corners and whatever just to make their bonuses. And again, I am not lying about anything. So if anyone wants to share this to anyone at Ulta, have at it, because I am not lying about anything. And I do have people that will back me up and know everything I did. I had many employees looking at me like, why are you cleaning that? Just throw it away. So again, I am not lying about anything. So everything I have to say is the truth, and I'm just saying that this is the truth and nothing but the truth. So come at me, I'm just telling the truth. But again, look at your products. Make sure you're not buying a used product. Bye-bye.